Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be servicing our Skoda Yeti 2 litre TDI. Let's get on with it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this plastic engine cover. Oh, there we go. We've got it going. I can't reach that other side. Got it. Success. Next, we're just going to remove this little bracket here that stops us getting to the oil filter, which is just underneath. I'm going to use a ratchet with a Torx 30 bit for this. I do feel the pressure to not drop it, because if I drop this, I don't know where it's going to end up. There we go. And then hopefully this will just release and we'll be able to pop it just to one side. And then nice clear access to the oil filter that I keep nearly calling fuel filter. Right, before we drain any of the old oil, we're just going to crack off the oil filter just to check that we can undo it. For this bit, you're going to need a 32mm socket. There we go.
Is it a bit tight?
Maybe a little bit tight. Felt a little bit dodgy. We'll go with that. So for any other Skoda Yeti, chances are you're still going to have the plastic belly pan. So at this point, you're going to want to be removing that. But we've got this dark side sump guard, so for us it's slightly different, and we're hoping if we remove this little flap here, it should give us access to the sump plug. At this point, this little flapper here has just given us perfect access to the sump plug. Right, next we're just going to crack off the sump bolt. For this we're using a 19mm spanner that's slightly muddy from Muddy Weekender last year, but hey ho, that's another story.
Obviously Alana in all the flattering angles.
There we go. Oh, I definitely didn't just swear.
Where do you rate that in terms of pulling the sump plug out?
Well, the thing is, I didn't get as plastered as what you do, but I definitely had the oil pan in the complete wrong place. While the oil is draining, we're going to remove the oil filter. Oh, there we go. Oh. Little bit of jiggery pokery, and then we'll pop that. Can I put that in there?
Yeah,
because we'll clean it off anyway. We're just going to pop the old oil filter out of this housing. Oh God, I've covered myself in oil. Jesus, she's untied. Right, after quite a fight, oil filter is out. Definitely didn't take two people, but you know. Oh, I look like a right hoodie, I've just realised, don't I? Next, we're going to be removing the three little rubber-like O-rings that are on here. There's one just up here, and then there's two small ones at the bottom. So to start with, let's see if we can get the small ones removed. We'll keep a bit of a mental note of where this top one actually does go as well, because it doesn't sit right at the very top of the cap, it sits just inside. Yeah, it sits inside. There's like a flat plastic, well the whole thing's plastic. This little flat recess just here, about third nugger down. But yeah, that one's off as well. Let's give this a good clean up. Right, that's that. I'd say relatively clean. We'll get the new one chucked in. Now the oil filter canister is nice and clean, we'll get the O-rings.
Just make sure if you get an oil filter that you have got three O-rings.
3 O-rings before you actually remove the old ones, because otherwise, that would not be ideal.
One big, one medium,
one big,
one small.
Yeah, that one. But yeah, I'm going to pop the big one in first, I wouldn't use a screwdriver at this point if you can help it, just because you don't want to nick the O-ring going in. Plus they're easy enough to just roll into place. And just remember, it goes in the flat recess just there. You probably can't even see that, but just there. That's that one on. I didn't think that would be the most fiddly bit of the entire job. Oh, hey, it's going, it's going. It's going, hey. She's on. Nicely done.
Then just give it a quick turn to make sure it's not rolled or anything like that. Same with this one.
Next, we're just going to get the oil filter popped into the little canister. Hopefully it's going to go in easier than it came out.
One of the things that Alana noticed, that it does say top on it.
It does actually say top on it, there we go. And it pops in with a nice little click. We're just now going to get some fresh oil and just smear a little bit around the O-rings on here. Let's get the oil filter back into its little hidey hole in here. I just know this is going to be a great fun. There we go. Just have to go in at a bit of an angle, I believe. There we go, and she's in. Next thing, that's somewhat hand tight. We're now just going to torque it up. Handily, it actually says on the cap that it needs to be 25 Newton meters. All cars need to do that. Okay, fair enough. My hand tight is 25 Newton meters then. Get the new sump plug in place. We'll go with that for now, and then I'll give it a brake cleaner. So that's nice and tight, and we'll just give it a good clean around the area at this point. Right, with a bit of trusty old Googling, Scott has come up with this sump bolt needs to be torqued to 30 Newton meters, which I'm going to do now. One thing we did forget to mention though is when you do this, you are going to need a new crush washer at this point before you put the bolt back in. We've gone the whole hog, we've got a new bolt and washer, but yeah, that's critical for this. Stop any oil leaking out. There we go, spot on.
Nice.
Now everything's back in place, we'll pop this little bracket doodah back where it came from and not drop the little screw in the process, hopefully. We're going to be using this Castrol edge oil. This one is suitable for a car with a DPF, which this car does have as well. I was looking at these thinking, what the bloody hell are they? That's what this poppers into.
Ah.
Do you see it? Because look, those things go into these.
Every day's a learning day.
I didn't twig quite how it works. It does fascinate me, and this is a bit stupid, but literally are you filming me while I'm talking?
No, of course not.
But no, it's how almost engineered this literal bit of foam is, that everything has its little, little place.
Everything in its place, and everything has its place, or
Very
something like
much
that.
so. Right, on that note,
Let's put the beauty cover back on.
Let's get this back on.
Because Alana don't like the look of it being naked.
No one wants to be naked.
Look at that, all pretty again.
It goes on much easier than it comes off. Right, we've just rolled the car off the run-up ramps. We haven't started the engine yet, but we will check the oil level shortly. But first, we're going to change the air filter. So let's get on with that. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to pop this little cover off just here. There's some little clips. There's one at the back and one. Are you trying to point at a clip that's not there?
Oh, I thought there was one.
And there's
there.
one at the side just here. There we go. Oh, I've just put the bag on in. Just going to pop this off. Does this just thing? Oh, there's one at the other side. That's what it is.
It's hiding from you.
There we go. Just to check that there's no debris in here, because the air goes from inside, it goes into the front grille, that one, into here before making its way around. Any debris could well get caught in here, but it hasn't on this car, thankfully. Right, we're just using a Torx 25 bit now to undo all of these little screws in here. They are captive, so they won't come all of the way out, and hopefully you won't have the same issue as what I've got, and one of them is rather corroded, shall we say. There we go. There we go.
One air filter.
There we go, one air filter. Oh, slightly grotty.
I think you can tell that that's probably only a year old.
Yeah, definitely.
That don't look too bad at all.
Definitely. The other clever thing with these cars,
Simply clever.
Simply clever.
You can't say clever without saying simply clever.
Is they have this little plastic thing in here that also has to filter out any debris and bits of leaves.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
We've
look,
got a
there's
nice
actual entire leaves there
Nice.
that have all been caught basically by the air filter.
Thank you, air filter grill.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Very
Skoda, for
clever.
being simply clever.
You can also kind of tell, to be fair, where like any rainwater or whatever is potentially sloshed into there.
And this is where maybe mud, water, and God knows what else goes in when Alana forgets that she's not in the Freelander and goes through water too fast.
Maybe. She's got the new air filter out of the box, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that in. Oh, it actually almost pops into the box a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Not
Nice
pop-
little firm seal.
Well, not so much pops in, I don't think that's the word, but it actually feels like it sits in there. It doesn't just get squashed in by the airbox, which I feel like some cars do. And then we'll pop that back in. There we go, that's all nice and tight. And then let's get this little cover back on. And then we're just going to pop this little cover back on. Looks like it just pops back in again. Like that. There we go, that's nice and firmly. There we go, now it's firmly back in place. Now to do the much loved or not cabin filter. Most Yetis should have a foam cover in the footwell. Mine doesn't have it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this plastic cover, which should just slide off, but let's see how this goes. That's the old cabin filter out. It's definitely due a change. There's quite a bit of crud in amongst that one. But yeah, just for note, it came out that way around. So this is just a note to myself in reality when I forget which way around it goes. But hey ho, might be useful for you as well. Is the cabin filter in place. I'm actually quite surprised. That's probably the easiest cabin filter we've come across. But yeah, in the actual filter itself, it's actually got like little holes that the hooks for this casing go in, and then it slides back towards the driver's side. And then obviously if you've got the foam thing at this point, you're going to want to refit that, but I don't, so we won't.
Right, seeing as we've done all the other bits and pieces, we're just coming back. Ooh. Hopefully the oil's all filtered down. We'll put about 4 litres in total, roughly, give or take. So just going to dip it, see where it's at.
Does anybody else count elephants when they put the oil, the dipstick back in? Because
How many elephants?
I go 5 elephants, but I've just got distracted, so it's a few more elephants this time.
Dear. And
yeah, we've got oil.
I know this GoPro's not got a feature on it, but just trust us.
There is definitely oil on that dipstick.
There is oil in the engine. But obviously that's not going to be the finished level, because obviously you've got to start it up, let it go through the engine, let the filter absorb some, so obviously they're probably going to need a little top up at the end. Last on the list is the diesel filter. From what I can gather, it's not too bad of a job overall, it's just extremely messy. First off the bat, we've stuffed a load of rags all around that area for 2 reasons. One, obviously for mess, and number 2,
if we drop a screw, it probably will just bounce off the rag and still hit the deck, but we're hoping it will catch the screw also. First thing we're going to do is we're going to give this top a good clean, just so we don't want any debris going into any of the fuel system. T20 Torx bit for this bit, so we're just going to get these screws undone. Now that the screws are out, we're just going to prise the lid off.
There's a little indent there to help you start, and then you can go around each side a little bit. Just be a bit careful, obviously, not to start bending stuff with too much pressure.
That is released.
And just push the filter off if it comes up with that
which
bit, which it probably will do.
Ooh,
oh, yeah. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
I like that one.
That was a good slot. Smells. Right, and then at this point we're just going to, well, Scott's going to rig some cable ties up so we can lift this back and out of the way.
What we're going to do, first of all though, before we get the filter out, we're going to cover over the pot and just clean up the area of the underside of the lid, take the seal off, so if there's any dirty bits, they don't fall in the pot. Next on the list, we're just going to get the new O-ring put onto the lid, or Alana is.
Yeah.
And then give it a little covering of diesel just to help lubricate it up, so it helps it seal properly, hopefully.
Oh, put a bit of dog hair on it as well in our case.
It stops it binding up it when we next come to do it in 2 years' time.
There we go, that's all good.
Perfect.
Right, I'm just going to fish out the old filter. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just holding it over the top just to let some of the old fuel sort of drain out of it. And then we're just going to go plop and just plop it into there.
Not too bad a shape overall, I wouldn't say. I thought it was going to look a whole lot worse than that. The reason why you take the fuel out is obviously all this dirt and grime that's on the outside of this is going to be in that pot. So yeah, you don't want to leave anything that can end up going through to the engine and damaging not only the engine but also the high pressure fuel pump. just give you a quick peek inside. It is nothing more than just a pot to hold diesel. Nothing more, nothing less. Obviously all the wizardry, you could call it, is all done by this top bit. Brand new syringe for this, because I'm going to keep repeating it and it'll get annoying, but it's imperative that everything you put in here now that it's cleaned out is ultra clean. Like I say, any debris will get potentially past the filter at this point. So yeah, we've got a new syringe, we've got a jerry can of diesel down here, so Alana's just gonna get some fuel sucked out. And what we're going to do, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a painted black line where it goes from black to silver. We're going to fill it up to there. If you want to measure it, I think it's about 700 millilitres that you want to fill it up with, but we're going to top it up after the filter's gone in, because the least amount of air you can keep in this, the better overall. Air causes airlocks, and not only that, the high pressure fuel pumps generally, excuse you,
pardon me,
the high pressure fuel pumps generally run off the diesel and use it as lubrication. So if it's starved of any fuel, then the high pressure fuel pump will have issues, and that's a bad time. Before Alana puts this filter in, we just want to show you the filter. If you can just move it over in front of the camera, it should have one open end, small, because there is different types of diesel filter you can get for different engines and that, and then the other end should be blank. Sometimes there is a hole in it, but overall it's probably blank, and that hole there is going to end up connecting to that in due course. First off the bat, now you've got it filled up with nice fresh clean fuel, just plonk it in and it should make a nice satisfying sound as it takes itself down. Little
flips.
This is the fun bit. Just make sure any tools you put in,
Nice clean screwdriver.
clean as possible,
Yeah.
let's say. It's going to be a case, now it's sunk down, it's sunk in all of its diesel that it wants to drink. Lift it up a bit and attach it to the other side.
The thing Scott is forgetting,
We need snips.
we need to cut the cable ties first, because this isn't going to work as it is.
That put up a lot more of a fight than what I thought it was going to. That requires a lot of pushing, and around this area it's really hard to kind of get to. It might just be that the filter wasn't perfectly on or something like that, but I doubt it. But we've just checked all around this area and I'm pretty sure it's down, so I'm quite happy with that. I think these are like 5 Newton meters, so we're going to get them put back in.
But yeah, they're all pretty damn tight.
Happy?
Happy?
Last job to finish off the diesel filter change, I believe, is to turn the ignition on and off, something like 6 times, waiting 5 seconds in between. The reason for this, I believe that Skodas have an electric fuel pump and it's meant to purge any remaining air out of the canister, if there is any air left in it.
Last one.
Right, this is the last one. The best way to actually do this is if you have VCDS, is to plug that in. Apparently there's an option on there to run the fuel pump, but obviously we don't have VCDS. I'm going to go to the front of the car and just check for leaks. Alana's just taken the car around the block.
Yep.
Obviously switched it off because we need to obviously check the oil level to make sure that's all good and top up as necessary. How did it drive?
All good.
Started out fine.
Did.
Drove well.
Did.
Yep. So obviously no issue.
Oh, that's a terrible angle, I just realised.
Well, you were working it. Other than that, I think that's a good one. What we're going to do now, we're going to transition to resetting the service interval on the display because it's complaining at us, and Alana's only doing this because she's fed up of it bonging when she turns the ignition on.
A little bit, yeah.
Right, to reset the service interval, first off the bat, obviously Alana's got to bend herself round me as I record this, is to press and hold the 0 button on the side, as you can see there. So press and hold that, then turn the ignition on.
Ow.
And then that should bring up that display that I obviously can't see. But then you select, obviously, is it okay or?
Yep, says okay.
I'll let Alana talk through this bit.
And then that's that reset.
And then
it's just saying inspection now instead of service and inspection, what it was saying before. So then we'll reset that one.
Yep, so to turn off the ignition. And this is going to sound crazy, but turn on your hazard lights, leave them flashing away, press the 0 button again and turn the ignition on. And then it should come up with that menu.
And then we're going to press OK again, which says reset.
And then obviously turn the ignition off and turn the hazards off. And then all being well, please excuse our dash cam having a meltdown. Hopefully now, when it's turned back on again, would you ab and believe it? It all should be good.
It's all good again.
And if Alana can flick through the menus, I might put a little cut in here.
Service info. There we go.
There we go. As you can see, hopefully it's all reset. I obviously can't see because I'm at a funny angle.
It says oil change 9,400 miles or 372 days. Inspection, wow, it went off really quickly. Inspection 20,100 miles or 365 days.
Perfect. Job is a good one.
So that was servicing our Skoda Yeti for the very first time. We hope you found this video somewhat useful. If not, hopefully we've entertained you even a teeny tiny bit in our slightly cack-handed ways. But yeah, if you have found it useful or enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and down below and leave us a nice comment, or a not so nice comment if you so desire. I don't mind, suit yourself. But yeah, we'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye. You can splat the camera, Scott.
And
goodbye.
Blah. Little
Little floops.